Yo, what is up everyone? AI obviously is really good at answering questions, but it's terrible at answering the same question twice. And that becomes a real problem, especially when you're working with data, because we are trying to apply the same logic and the same set of thinking over and over again. And most people solve that problem by writing the same prompt and the same description again and again and again. But there is a better way, and that is why AI skills are super interesting. They are going to let you package and group and bundle all of that logic, all of that thinking into something that is reusable. It's actually really easy to do. So I'm going to show you, and you know what? Enough of all this talking, what we like to do here at GuineCube. Let's head over to my laptop. So now we're inside my Visual Studio Code, and as you see here, I've opened up a chat with GitHub Copilot. On the left side here, you see that I have a bunch of folders, and one of them are called summaries. And you see here that we have a skill markdown file. This is essentially all you need when you're creating these skills. You give it a name, a bunch of different descriptions and instructions on how to answer a prompt. So this is a summarizer skill. So I've given it some instructions on how I want it to summarize text or data for me when that is something a user asks for in the chat. But for us to check if it's actually doing a good job, let's check out the dataset first. So let's just head over to Power BI for a minute. So I want to test this summarizer skill on my sales data that comprises of some costs, customer month, and revenue data. And I just put all of this into a column chart. And here you see that for revenue, we are going down a bit in March before it's going up again. The customers also, we're losing them in March before they are returning. But the cost is just increasing and increasing and increasing. Okay, that's then the base of the underlying data that I want Copilot to summarize for me. So let's test it. Please summarize the sales.csv data. Okay, cool. So it gave me a bullet point summary. That's nice. That's also what I told it to do in my instructions. And what I think is interesting here is that if we check out the files it reviewed, it did review the skill summarize. And I didn't specifically tell it that, but inside of the skill here, I have told it when it should use this skill. If someone asks to summarize a piece of text or data, so it picks up on this automatically if you provide that information in the skill. Okay, so it is catching the main point here. It's a clear dip in March and same dip in March for both customers and revenue. That's cool. But what if we tell it to be a bit more sarcastic? Because I have a different skill here as a sarcastic summarizer. So let's say, please summarize a bit sarcastically instead. Okay, so here as well, we see that it did use the sarcastic skill summarizer. Costs keep rising across the period because apparently making more money is way more exciting when it also costs a lot more to do it. I mean, that's not too bad. But what if we give it a bit more of a test? I want it to summarize this data as a data analyst and be a bit more specific. Okay, so now it's much more detailed. It gives me key trends, anomalies, business risks, opportunities, much more information in general. And you also see that it did pick up on the data analyst skill. So let's take a look at that one. So here you see that I have specifically told it to provide key trends, anomalies, business risks, and opportunities exactly as it did. Are we impressed? Maybe not. Let's see if we can do something more interesting. So as a data governance enthusiast, obviously, I think we should take a look at data quality. Starting a new chat, and I have a test data set that I want it to use. Let's take a look at it together first. So inside of Power BI, I have this test data set here. And as you can see, we're missing some data. Not everything is on the correct format. Quality-wise, it's not perfect. So let's see if GitHub Copilot can help us with this quality analysis of this data. So please help me do a data quality analysis on test data set. So it did actually do a full data quality review for us. It's finding some important issues. So we have some duplicate records, missing required values, invalid business values, format issues, timeliness, and lineage also. It tells us about the affected records and also recommends a cleanup order. Now, this is pretty good because if we take a look at the data quality analyzer skill, you see here that I did ask it specifically to look at completeness and uniqueness, observability and traceability, accuracy and conformance, consistency, timeliness, and valid formats. And I also gave it some instructions on how to respond specifically. So the first thing it's supposed to do is to state the dataset scope and summarize overall quality health in 1 to 2 sentences. So that's what it's doing right here. Then it's summarizing and listing the top 3 to 5 data quality issues. These are the ones we got here. Then it's also providing us with a recommended fix. And we're at the end here also getting some suggestions on how to set up validation steps and what we should do to fix this. Okay, that was cool and it did pretty well. Now, obviously these were quite easy just to show you guys what skills are and how you can use them. But obviously you can be super specific in your instructions, adding, code snippets, instructions on how to do development. The more specific you are on the skill, the better it's going to perform. Final heads up, so depending on the agent solution you're using, skills might look a bit different. And now you're probably wondering, but Martha, what about Fabric and Power BI, the stuff that you usually talk about inside of this channel? Yes, I know. So skills also apply inside of Microsoft Fabric. Let me show you where they are. So when you're setting up your data agent, you add the agent instructions, and these are essentially the skills that you set up inside of Fabric. Now, let me know what you think. Are you gonna test out skills? Let me know in the comments below. Check out all the other videos, probably one flying above my head as we speak. And as always, thank you so much for watching from Adam, Patrick, and this guy right here. And I'm excited to see you guys in the next video. Bye.